Hello, thanks for joining me, astrologer Patrick Arundell, for your July monthly forecast for the Sun or the Ascendant. If you're new to my channel, I'd be delighted if you would subscribe or click on the like button. Also, if you want to download your free natal horoscope, see the link beneath this video and discover all your natal positions. Of course, if you want your 12-month forecast and character analysis and get 30% off with my special offer, please also see that link. And finally, if you want to sign up for your free daily horoscope, which will go through to your device each and every morning, please also see that link too. But that brings us to this month. So what does July hold in store? Hello Aquarius, and welcome to your monthly horoscope for July. This month begins with the Sun in the sign of Cancer, which for you is very much about life structures. It can be about the domestic scene or work or health, fitness, diet, appointments. It can also be about our relationship with animals. But the sixth house is very much an opportunity to try to make things run a bit sweeter, a bit smoother. And if you're in a job, for example, that doesn't give you an enormous amount of personal satisfaction, the fact that the Sun in the first 10 days of this month forges a glorious angle with your modern ruler of Uranus suggests that there could be an idea that gets sparked that can see you working from home or working in a more flexible way, or perhaps collaborating with someone where it gives you the space you like. It could be that, for example, working from home during the lockdown has actually worked quite well for you, but you may need to go back for some of the week, and actually a new arrangement is really put in place that's really cemented down that actually you feel very happy with, because the flexibility of Uranus in your home zone is linking very productively with the Sun in your sector of organisation. But it is true that there is a quarter moon on the 2nd in the sign of Aries. For you, this is house 3. House 3 in a 90-degree angle with house 6, where the Sun is, can create tension. So one of the things that is important at this early point of the month is not to try to be too virtuous. If you can make some changes, that's fantastic. But I wouldn't really try to take on too much. For example, if you have a do-it-yourself job that you want to grapple with, give yourself some realistic targets. Don't try to overburden yourself too much. Now, it's also true that as this new month begins, Mercury in Gemini, your sister air sign, still tangles once more with Neptune. If we cast our mind back to the end of May, when Mercury retrograde began, there was a direct square with Neptune, and that's going to be repeated as this month begins. So I think if there is something that you've been developing of a more creative nature, and it does require some funding of some kind, I think by the end of the first week of this month, you will be really much more satisfied about how things are unfolding. Now, one of the magical things about this month, Aquarius, is that Venus, the planet of relating, and Mars, the planet of attraction, aurora, more masculine attraction, they're collaborating in a superb way pretty well down the whole of this month. But through most of it, they're in your sector of relationships. So if you're looking for someone new to come into your world, if you're single and you're really yearning for a new beginning around your love life, this is a very evocative bond between them. Venus in the 7th house, as it is very harmonizing. Mars is good to set our intentions and also our boundaries. So when they're working in unity, we get a nice blend of energies. This isn't based on gender or sexuality. It's based on our drives. Mars is about instant gratification. Venus is much more delicate and subtle in the way it draws goodness to her. So the combination between them in your sector of relating, which is going to go on through to the 22nd with both of them in that sector, is a real good news story of this month. Now, it is true that they do run into a little bit of celestial traffic at the start of this month in the guise of your two rulers. Yes, they've been in mortal conflict pretty well since the 2nd of January. That is Saturn, your traditional ruler, and Uranus, your higher octave modern ruler. But the great news is that also on the 22nd, Saturn's retrograde inverts it away from the square, at least within 3 degrees. I take 3 degrees when of an orb, a gap between the exact angles that planets forge when I do these forecasts. So I think the influence of those two is going to diminish considerably from the 22nd. And I think it's possible that you have been getting more skilled, even if it's not entirely conscious, because they have created so much frustration and slowed things down. If you're wanting to change where you live, particularly, or you felt very closed in your home environment, or if the COVID restrictions has really been affecting your mental health because you've not been able to freely associate with others in the way that we all need, then it would be really understandable if that has ground your gears. But you've probably been developing quite a few internal resources over that time. And even if it has still felt very, very frustrating and things have been going slow, you have actually been moving. I can almost guarantee it. So when Mars and Venus go into an opposition with Saturn and a square with Uranus, yes, it could create some choppy stuff around a relationship situation, but also the opportunity, if you choose it, to find a way to re-engage with someone, even someone that you find difficult. It may be a past lover, it could be a family member, a friend. There is an opportunity to try to clear the air, or you may decide to bring a situation to a complete close. So that is possible in the early part of this month. But on the 10th, there's a glorious new moon in Cancer, which is going to give you a lot of physical vitality, a lot of enthusiasm to charge your life with a new sense of self-discipline. It's been hard to keep our patterns and structures intact because, you know, even if we have a lot of time to ourselves, we can lose motivation if we're not doing things that give us a sense of satisfaction, and then we become deeply lethargic. That I know has affected me at times during COVID. So I think having a virtuous new moon is an opportunity to get back on track with all the things that make us feel good, you know, whether it's going for a walk, whether it's a swim, a cycle, doing some stretching exercises, going having some therapeutic treatments, being able to go to the doctor for a checkup for various different things, taking our pets for inoculations and checkups, 6th house, very much to do with pets. All these things can be supercharged from the 10th. Also on the 11th, Mercury, the planet of communication, moves away from that sluggish right angle to Neptune and into the sign of Cancer too. Here, Mercury helps because its natural tendency to try to find clarity will support the new moon. It has to be said that Mercury, in a purely astrological viewpoint, is not deeply happy in the sign of Cancer, because Cancer is very watery and therefore can just dissolve some of the clarity. But I feel that because Mercury squaring up with Neptune has been so tricky, particularly during the retrograde, I think Mercury going through Cancer will be something you will deal with ease. Now, from the 12th through to the 18th, the Sun's actually forging a very positive link to Neptune. You can do well with your finances, but particularly where you use your imagination. Or it could be that you're more compassionate side. Aquarius people can be very much aware of the environmental impact on the earth, of people who are less fortunate, of people who perhaps in areas of the world who are being more affected. You know, we've had the situation in India, for example, which has just been so shocking. And I think Aquarius people can often be much more conscious and alert to this kind of stuff. And you may find yourself putting your hand in your pocket and helping out a good cause, or it could be that you could just buy someone in the street a nice cup of coffee. Whatever altruistic act you do will bring its own karmic reward to you. Now, on the 17th, there's another quarter moon in your sister air sign of Libra. So this one is about your need to be a free spirit. is being trimmed back by the Sun and Mercury's location in the 6th house of being conscientious and sacrificing. I think it just means don't promise to do something that you don't want to do. You know, being a good egg is a good thing to be, you know, but not to the point where it actually denies us time to look after our best interest. The 6th house is about being virtuous. It can be towards other people, but it has to be starting at home with ourselves. Now, the 22nd is a key date of this month without any doubt at all. The Sun moves into its home zone of Leo. Your two rulers, as I mentioned before, come to an end of their deeply challenging square, which has gone on since the 2nd week of January. But the Sun going into Leo for you is about relationships. So it's joining up initially with Mars. On the same day, the 22nd, Venus actually moves into a very deep but also very sensual part of your situation. Don't be surprised if around the 22nd you hear some good news about a business matter, a financial matter, a contract. Some good news can run to you as this month draws to a close that can see you punching the air with joy. Now, there is a full moon in your sign on the 24th. All I would say is there's a huge potential to improve relationships this month, but if there's one that's stubbornly resistant to in any kind of reproachment or diplomacy or trying to clear the air, it just isn't budging, the following 2 weeks could see you seize the initiative and decide to bring it to a close. And one of the reasons for that is Jupiter returns to your sign on the 28th after its sojourn into Pisces. It has, of course, been in retrograde since the 20th of June, but I do think it's been broadly good for your finances. But I think Jupiter moving back into your sign is giving or going to give you much more self-belief about what you need to do as an individual. Then Mercury moves into your opposite sign on the 28th. So that again, Mercury joining up with the Sun, and just for a day, Mars. It's all about achieving some kind of consensus. And if the consensus can be to move forwards in a productive, collaborative and cooperative way with people in your life, grand. You're going to see some big improvements around relationships this month. But if a relationship isn't salvageable, it ain't going to get better. It really is as simple as that. The stars can't heal what isn't working. But by the 29th, Mars moves into Virgo, joining up with Venus. And that's going to give you a much greater desire to move on, to transform a situation, particularly if you're in a relationship which is a bit loveless or sexless. It doesn't have much passion. Aquarius people have a reputation of being a bit detached romantically. I have made Elisa laugh a few times when I've said, how does an Aquarius make love? And she said, I don't know, you tell me. And I said, well, with their glasses on, as I'm remembering to take my glasses off. It's just a bit of a joke that, of course, we have this reputation of being a bit detached and, you know, a bit sort of away in the clouds with our thinking. But Aquarius people can be just as centrally turned on as any other sign. It's the communication that needs to be right in the first place, the friendship side of things, the shared values. If all those things are working fine, don't believe that you can't have a red hot sex life. And your sex life could get red hot as this month draws to a close if you're lucky enough to have worked very hard on developing an opportunity to relate to someone. Someone comes into your world, or a pre-existing relationship that you've really put a lot of investment into. There's every chance that something can reach a magical moment as this month comes to a close, and it could be a business relationship as much as a romantic one from a financial viewpoint. And I do hope I haven't put you off your cup of tea with my little share there. But thank you so much for joining me. Enjoy what can be a really special month for you.